Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside very special guest, Thomas Schultz. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Mike. How you, man?
Good. So you're on today. You are kind of our entertainment expert. I was talking to you before the show. Years ago, we would gamble on the Oscars, and somehow you'd go 99 out of 100 bets and get them all correct. So we're going to be introducing your new show, The Entertainment Arena, and you tell everybody what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you and I have been talking about now the last few years, getting me back on the Sports Hangover. And with the Entertainment Arena, looking at entertainment news again, but also bringing in sports and the business side of it as well. So, we'll be talking about how movies and shows are doing, but also what can we expect from sports streaming rights, sports television rights, how in stadium attendance is going. Video gaming has become one of the biggest things in the world. Expecting a big sports game this year and NCAA football coming back. So we're going to be looking at.
Wait, do you really think NCAA football? Do you think it's going to be big? I feel like it's been gone for, I don't know. I would say 15 years it's been gone. Do you think it's going to be that big? Because I guess they can make money from it, right?
Yeah, it's going to be big, especially now that the players can actually have their name, image, and likeness in there at the NIL. Expect, I think, something to come out during Monday's national championship game, like a release date or a teaser trailer. But we'll get more into that in the summer when it's coming out.
Do you know anything about it? Because I was wondering, okay, if the top guys, like the guys that we know, but what about like an offensive lineman? Like that man's not getting paid like $100,000 to have his likeness in the game, right? Like he's probably getting just a standard check.
He will. He'll get paid a decent chunk. They all have their own NIL through NIL campaign funds that they each school has. Alabama's is bigger than, say, a University Cal Berkeley versus Boston College versus Texas, right? So an offensive lineman at one of those schools can make upwards of a few $100,000.
So is the NIL, do they negotiate for them, or do they all have their own agents saying like, no, you're not getting Caleb Williams in this game unless you pay him $4 million?
They have an agent. I don't know if it's like Drew Rosenhaus, who's the top NFL agent, right? But they definitely have someone who goes in and negotiates with the school's NIL board to get them that money. So there are different athletes who can sign with Pepsi, or they can sign local deals. So
sure.
So more to come on that. That'll be part of the show as well, talking about like how is Caleb Williams, who's been doing well at SC and an NIL deal, going to go into the NFL draft this year, and he's going to expect not just a first round contract or a top 10 pick, but he's going to expect some equity in a team. So that'll be part of the topics that we talk about. And then also something that you and I are very passionate about is sports gambling. Yes. And not just sports gambling, but entertainment gambling. We have the award season coming up, looking at odds of like who's going to pick up the NBA TV streaming rights. Like, is the end season tournament going to be its own package? Will ESPN get that, or will a big name streamer get that? So
I don't think ESPN's spending money on anything this year, but I think if anything, they're selling.
It's going to be tough.
What do you got for us this week? What's kind of been brewing? We had all the the strikes going on. There's barely any movies out. I'm watching like old movies now. I'm watching Suits. I'm deep into Suits right now. Season 3, like episode 8. I will say season 3 gets a little lull here. So I know hopefully next season it picks back up, but listen, I got nothing to watch. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm throwing this at you, but like, what are you watching? Because I'm struggling right now to watch good TV. There's a lot of bad TV. I've been watching Godzilla on Apple TV, which is like boring.
That's decent.
It's pretty slow, but so what are you watching? Because I need something to watch this weekend.
So you are exactly like a lot of people out there who have gone back and are starting to watch old syndicated shows on streaming platforms. I'm watching stuff like New Girl. I'm starting Suits. I'm watching old shows because we're starting to hit that lull of the writer's strike and the actor's strike of not being able to shoot and write products. So they all were filming at the end of last year and are currently filming right now for premiere dates coming up here at the end of the month. So a show like Suits was the top show on Netflix. Netflix right now, if you were to go onto the top 10 of Netflix right now, it's not original content. It's all licensed content from Warner Brothers. In fact, the number one movie right now on Netflix is Aquaman, the first Aquaman. So it's really interesting to see that and I think a lot of people are saying, I'm going to declare it on here, the streaming war is now officially over. Netflix has won the streaming wars. If their studios are licensing their product and their deals out already back to Netflix after launching these streaming services, it's not even a question of who's in charge of that. Now, the interesting thing will be who will be the first streamer to put an original show that was on a streaming platform, like say The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Will Disney take a risk and maybe put The Mandalorian or one of those shows, their first episode on Netflix, to have a promotional tour to generate people to go to the service? That's what's going to be interesting.
I don't know if they're going to do that. I feel like Disney has that, like, you see slowly they're adding that like Hulu tab in there and they're integrating Hulu. So I don't know if like you're going to be able to go on your Hulu app and kind of go between both, or are they shutting down the Hulu app? Because it is confusing for the viewer. Like I'm confused and I feel like I'm plugged in and I'm like, okay, so do I get all my Hulu content here? It's a little, widget now on Disney Plus, which I should just cancel Disney Plus because I pay way too much for something I do not watch at all. I will say the only show I've liked from Disney this past year was Ahsoka.
Great show.
Great show.
Great show. Hit that nostalgia point. You're not the only person I've talked to about the Hulu tile on Disney Plus, and that's going to be an interesting thing for Disney to watch, is what the Hulu shows are doing on Disney Plus versus what they're doing on the platform, because they've made it known that they're not planning to shut down Hulu because of the Hulu Live service. So one thing that Disney is going to be looking at is, does it make sense to have Hulu as its own individual streaming service, or are they going to fully migrate the platform into Disney Plus and offer Hulu Live through Disney Plus? I think that's going to be something that's going to be,
I feel like it should be the other way.
Do you think Disney Plus should go into Hulu?
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people use Hulu, even people that don't know what's going on, they use Hulu. They have Hulu Live.
The only thing with that is Hulu is a United States only product. It's not international. So Disney's going to do whatever they can to keep Disney at the forefront of the marketing brand. And why wouldn't it? I mean, Disney has been synonymous now for a century with entertainment, so they want to use that brand. That's the thing that people are questioning Warner Brothers and NBC Universal with their platforms going to Max and Peacock. At least Paramount Plus, which is now the lowest subscriber count in all of the streaming services, has their
one of them.
legacy name in the front. I'm one of them too. You like the Star Trek shows in there? I like the South Park specials and Yellowstone spinoffs on there. So it's interesting, especially now with the merger coming up, like the rumored discussion between Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount, which can't even happen until next year. So it's interesting that news is coming out.
So I have a question. So what's the deal? I recently saw this. Steamboat Mickey is now free in public, public domain. Who is the face of Disney at this point? Because I'm like, well, was it always Mickey, the two little heads? So obviously it's not the newer in color Disney Mickey Mouse, but like now we're going to see like a Thriller with Steamboat Mickey, the black and white version. Who's the face of Disney? What character is the face of Disney?
It's still Mickey. I mean, the only trademarked logo of Mickey that is in the public domain now is Steamboat Willie. This actually already happened before with the Winnie the Pooh characters. They've had Winnie the Pooh and Tigger have had horror movies made based after them. When you're able to market a horror movie using probably the most popular and watched cartoon character of all time in Mickey Mouse, you're going to do it when it hits the public domain. However, it's only Steamboat Willie that's out there. So
Steamboat Mickey, right?
It's Steamboat Willie is the name of it. Because his name wasn't even mentioned, but it's the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey is the only one that can be used. You're not going to see a horror movie with Mickey in his tuxedo with the red pants, the white dot. You're not going to see that. Minnie is not even close.
Yeah, they got to be thinking about it though, right? Because it is weird now that they can use that. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is not like the face of Disney or anything like that, and Mickey feels like it. And I was wondering, I just didn't know, like, what are the top 3 characters at Disney right now? Is it now that they bought Star Wars? Is it like Darth Vader? Like, I don't know who it is. Who is your top 3 for Disney? Like, if they were going to change the face, who's the face of Disney?
I would say if you're gonna choose a character right now, that's the face of Disney, that's not Mickey Mouse,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna look at a franchise that they probably picked up. So probably someone from Star Wars. I would say probably Grogu from The Mandalorian, Baby Yoda is up there.
But the
From
face, come on, the
yeah,
face of Disney right now. What about like one of the princesses from one of those
Anna and Elsa from
yeah,
Frozen,
Elsa.
they would be a combo package probably because that is still very popular. They have Frozen 3 in development right now, as well as a Frozen show for Disney Plus. So the princesses, especially lately, have been faces. But if it's not Mickey, it's either going to be you're looking at Elsa, Grogu, or someone from Marvel.
I don't even
And
know who
then
Grogu doesn't even I feel like there's no way to pick Grogu. There's no way. I don't even know who that is.
it's not Grogu though. You walk around and you say Grogu, look, you get that reaction. But if you say Baby Yoda, everyone knows who you're talking about.
Sure,
So,
but I was just like, who's the face of Disney? And yeah, I know they bought a lot and they did a lot. Is it like Iron Man? You know, I don't know what.
Iron Man's up there.
Yeah, but now
Deadpool,
he's not even.
Deadpool might be one,
But not
since
the
it's the lone
face.
Marvel movie.
Not the face of like when you see the little logos on like, you know, Disney Plus or whatever, you know, it's not going to be Mickey anymore. Like they got to figure out who's next. And I don't think they have that, which is confusing to me.
You're not right, or excuse me, you're not wrong there.
You're not
Especially
correct.
because you're not correct. No, you're not wrong because especially the new Mickey Mouse cartoons doesn't even look like Mickey. They put in a Mickey Mouse ride in both Disneyland and Disney World. And I've talked to people who have gone on like that doesn't even look like Mickey. Yeah, it's got the ears and everything,
Yeah.
but it's just not the Mickey we're used to. So you're not wrong. It's definitely something that Disney has a challenge of right now.
What else? What else you got for us?
One big thing that I really wanted to get into today is we're coming off the NFL season. You and I are big NFL watchers. And one big thing that happened the last 2 years is the streaming of the NFL. You're a Sunday ticket guy on YouTube TV.
Yep.
We both watch Thursday Night Football, even though it's not the best games. We're starting to see
Amazon,
now
yeah.
more on Amazon. We're starting to see more numbers of the Thursday Night Footballs coming in and Monday Night Football because both for Week 18, there's not a Thursday night game this week or a Monday night game. Ratings and viewership for both those nights are up, and that makes sense considering they were stronger schedules, especially Monday Night Football. Amazon saw a 24% increase over last year. And some people are crediting that to the schedule change with better matchups, which is true. A little bit better chemistry between Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, which of the of the broadcasters, they're not the strongest combo. Kirk got better this year.
He did.
Al, you can tell Al's age is showing, and he's recently made it known he's going to finish his contract with Amazon next year and then go year over year after that. But one thing to watch is now that we know that Amazon is a big player in the sports world, there is a league called the National Basketball Association who has a streaming package that they want to put out there. And it's going to be a lot of money to where ESPN and Disney ESPN and Warner Brothers Discovery with TNT may not be able to match it. So you're going to see people like Netflix, Apple, Amazon come into the play this year, talk for a 24-25 possibility for the in-season tournament. And then the 25-26 season, the streaming rights will pick up and you'll get that. Especially also considering Amazon is rumored to be getting into the RSN, the regional sports networks, to save the regional sports networks. They can then have the investment in every single NBA team that's not the New York Knicks or the Los Angeles Lakers with their TV package, as well as have national broadcasting.
Do you think there has to be some sort of subsidy for all this? Because the cable channels, when you had cable, everybody was paying for ESPN, right? ESPN was making tons of money, and now they're not going to be doing that. So it's like Amazon either has to take a hit and then do something different and say, yeah, it's this much or per game or per team. But it doesn't fully make sense. Like obviously YouTube TV got the package for NFL, which was similar pricing to what Dish had it at, right? So no difference there. But it is weird to me that, okay, let's say the NBA next year, the in-season tournament exclusively on Amazon. Clearly Amazon's going to have to pay, let's say $1 billion for that. They have to somehow subsidize that stream to us because I'm not paying whatever $50 for the in-season tournament. I would maybe watch it if it was ad supported and you just want to put some ads on there and I'd turn on, but I'm not paying for it. So I just don't know how they're going to do it, how they're going to make money. And clearly the leagues will make money but will the streaming services make money? And some of them don't care because some of them it's not their main thing.
And what you just said is one of the big complaints on Apple TV this year, because Apple TV Plus had the MLS season kickoff and the streaming package.
Mhm.
It was the exclusive home to all MLS games.
Yeah.
Because of Messi. But the one thing they forgot to mention until you went to sign up was that it was behind a paywall of Apple TV Plus, which is already a paywall as it is, right? It's a streaming TV platform. Major League Baseball has games on there. It's available to Apple TV subscribers. You
For
don't
free.
need to for free. You don't need to
okay.
pay an additional fee for the games.
Never turned it on.
But to watch the MLS, you
Yeah.
have to do that. They have a free game every week, but if you wanted to watch Messi, most of the time you would have to pay for that whole package, and it was not worth the $15 a month, in my opinion, on top of already paying about $15 a month for Apple TV, which is already struggling as a streaming service as it is and getting subscribers. So if Apple gets into, let's just mention Apple, if Apple
Yeah.
gets into the NBA or the NFL, even if this merger with Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount happens in 2025, the NFL rights for CBS become into question of whoever's the CEO of that company. Do they want to keep the NFL with how expensive it is? Ultimately, all sports will go streaming, though, and Amazon, Netflix, and Apple will be the three guys that cover it. You're seeing Netflix get into the sports world. We saw them have the Netflix Cup. They have a tennis match coming this year. They're getting into live shows they have the Screen Actors Guild Awards this year on.
Oh, they do?
Netflix. Yeah, they'll have the SAG Awards on Netflix this year. They had it last year technically, but they aired it on the YouTube channel for Netflix. So they're going to do that again this year, as well as air it on the Netflix platform.
Yeah, they definitely need some live content, but yeah, it's just going to be a weird world. I was talking, Jeremy, we did the Sports for Drama show, and I'm just like, streaming is going to get so expensive, and not everybody's going to be able to watch everything. And in a way, you think back to cable and you're like, oh, I couldn't on demand or do any of that. But like, those were the good days when you could just turn on a channel, you got it all. Now it's like, oh, Peacock has just this NFL game on Saturday night. And you're like, where the hell is this game? You're flipping through the channels. It's going to get messy. And it's because of all these rights. And I just don't know, like, what happens. Like, okay, so NBA split up into 5 different channels and TV like networks, and it's gonna get wild. And I don't know if I'm here for it, but yeah.
That's what happened with the NHL a few years ago when it was on NBC and even this year now. You don't know if the NHL is going to be on ESPN or if it's going to be on TNT.
Well, it's every other night. I know it's every other night, but
and I know that,
yes.
but you don't. But and then every other year, the Stanley Cup Final is on either TNT or ESPN.
But I will say ESPN has done a better job at promoting the NHL much better than NBC ever did. NBC, I swear to God, it's like they didn't want it. They're just like, oh yeah, it's here.
They were the saving grace of the NHL. Yeah. And to your point about rights with what's going to be on linear versus what's going to be on streaming, that's going to happen again wild card weekend. Peacock has an exclusive wild card game.
Yep.
So they had an exclusive Christmas weekend game with the Chargers and Bills on Peacock. Now we're going to see, can they generate the playoff audience on Peacock only? If they can, they've got a platform that's ready to go with the Olympics this year, as well as the President's Cup for golf and some exclusive stuff that's going to be on Peacock. But if they can't, if they're going to be the lowest viewed playoff game of wildcard weekend, they're going to have some questions on that platform. And so 2024 is going to be the year where we'll see a lot of streaming become like who survives. And by survives meaning mergers, who's going to be the one platform that says, you know what, I'm going to throw my hand up and say our platform doesn't work. It should be, I hate saying it this way too, because I'm a subscriber to them, but Paramount Plus would probably be the better one to shut down, because outside of a couple shows, it's a lot of the Nickelodeon and old Viacom shows that are terrible. So
yeah, they should definitely merge or sell off whatever they got. I mean, a lot of these networks, you're just like, what's going on? Like, so where's FX go? Like, is that part of Hulu still? Is that part of Disney? Like, who's going to be, where all those shows going to go? It's just a weird time. And it was like, we kind of hit peak a few years ago when you could just like, everything was everywhere and you had your cable provider and you could just access anything, like log in with your cable provider. which was nice. Now we're kind of like, you got to pay for us if you want to get through this. So not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I mean, and that's what we're going to see in 2024 and
Yeah.
probably beginning of 25. So, yeah.
Great. Good. Looking forward to all that mess.
but that's what we got going this week, and a little taste of what we're going to have on the entertainment arena for the coming weeks and months and years as we get this Sports Hangover network back going again.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for everything coming on. I'm excited for you, being here, and we're going to start talking more entertainment stuff. And obviously we can talk next week. Maybe I'll jump on the show again, or just like a little blip of the show and do a little gambling for some of the awards coming up. Do you have anything else for us before we dip out?
I mean, not right now. What you're going to see is,
hold it for next week.
Yeah, PGA Tour season starts this week, so we'll watch that, especially with the PGA Tour Public Investment Fund / Live merger continuing to be talked about. That's going to be a topic on the show. Maybe I'll get J-Dog on to talk about it. So it's going to be a fun 2024.
Cool. Thomas Schultz, Entertainment Arena. It's in the feed here. You can follow us also on the Sports Hangover on YouTube, Twitter, all the places. We're all there. Thanks for coming on. See ya.